I want you to think about the last time you woke up excited about AI. Now, think about the last time you woke up anxious about it. So, for small business owners right now, both of those happen in the same week, sometimes in the same morning. The excitement when you see what it can do, the anxiety when you realize you haven't done anything with it yet. And that cycle, excitement, anxiety, motivation, overwhelmed. It's not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that you're running the wrong program. And today, we're going to install a better one. I'm Kim.
And I'm Hal.
And this is Small Business, Big AI, the podcast where we stop playing defense and start building technology-enabled superpowers.
Today, we're talking about the agentic shift, the moment we are living through right now where AI is moving from something you prompt to something that acts.
And what it actually means for small business owners who want to be on the right side of this shift.
The question isn't whether AI is ready for your business. It's whether you're ready to stop being the engine and start being the engineer.
Okay, so something shifted last week, and I didn't realize it right away. But I've been thinking about Orlando ever since. After that episode, the one from last week, I started getting messages, DMs, comments from people who were actually in the room. And the strange thing is, what stayed with me wasn't the turnout. It wasn't the sessions. It wasn't even the questions. It was the feeling. There was urgency in those rooms. Not panic, not hype, not that tired, AI is coming for your job energy. This felt different, quieter, heavier, like people who had been watching from a distance for a long time and suddenly realized it was time to move. Because the conversation has changed. No one's asking, should I use AI anymore? I mean, that's over. What they're asking now is, where do I start? And how does this actually fit together? And what I keep noticing, like at the expo and consulting, everywhere, it's not confusion about what AI can do. They've seen the demos. They know. The confusion is about themselves and their role in it.
Yeah, and that's the real tension right now, because this is an incremental change. This is structural. And the question underneath almost every conversation I'm having is, where do I fit in a world where AI can increasingly do what I used to do myself? Most people don't say it that directly, but that's what they're thinking. And that's what they're asking.
And it's a real question, Hal, not rhetorical, because I noticed something in my own workflow this week. Claude has this co-work feature now. It can see what I'm doing, move with me inside the work. Not just answer questions, but actually help complete tasks. Now, Gemini inside of Chrome is the same thing. It sees the screen, it moves with you. And then Copilot in agent mode, well, it's working inside the browser, taking action. And how these aren't experiments. These are just Tuesday morning tools. And that's the shift. Because now the question isn't, can AI help me think about this? The question is, can I design this so AI handles it while I handle something else? Now that's the shift. And get this, it's already here. Now, here's the part I keep coming back to. Most small business owners are experiencing this moment as a content problem. More tools, more tutorials, more updates. So they respond the way they always have. They try to learn more. But this isn't a learning problem, it's a design problem. The businesses that come out ahead won't be the ones who know the most about AI. They'll be the ones who decided very clearly where human judgment actually matters and where it's just friction.
And I think the scale of this moment is still underestimated by a lot. Something like 84% of the people haven't used AI in a meaningful way yet. Only 8.6% of the companies have deployed real agents. So we're early, really early. And the analogy I keep coming back to is electricity. When it showed up, factories didn't redesign anything. They just swapped out the steam engine for an electric motor. Same layout, same thinking, just cleaner power. It took decades before anyone realized electricity changed the architecture. You didn't need one big engine anymore. You could redesign the entire floor. That's where the real gain was.
And most businesses right now, they are still putting the electric motor where the steam engine was.
Exactly. Same work, slightly faster. The redesign hasn't happened yet.
So, like I said, I saw this at the Small Business Expo in a really clear way. So, I was talking to a woman, running a staffing agency, 15 years in, strong reputation, team of, I think about 12. And she integrated AI into recruiting, job descriptions, resume screening, candidate summaries. I mean, real improvement, real time saved. So I asked her, what do your recruiters do with the time? And she said, well, mostly the same things, just more of them. And I said, that's the electric motor again, because efficiency isn't redesign. Redesign would look different. Initial screening, outreach, scheduling, prep briefs, all running through an agent workflow. And the recruiter's first human touch points, judgment. Is this person right for this client? Because that's the real value, not moving paperwork, but judgment. Build a system that protects that and automates everything else.
And that distinction changes how you think about your team. The question isn't, can AI replace my recruiter? The question is, what is my recruiter for? If you can answer that, you can design around it. If you can't, that's the real problem.
Exactly how. Ready to unlock the power of AI for your small business? Well, don't just listen. Become a small business big AI insider. Subscribe and get ready to dominate. Role clarity comes before technology, and most businesses skip straight past that. So here's the frame I want you to sit with for a second: engineer versus engine.
The engine does the work. The engineer designs how the work gets done. For most small business in history, you had to do both and be both because the tools didn't let you separate them.
But AI changes that. Right now, you can design workflows that execute faster and more consistently than most human teams for clearly defined processes. Now, that's not hype. That's just what the tech does. which means the real question now is, where am I most valuable as the engineer? What decisions require me? What relationships require me? What judgment requires me? And what can I design so I never have to touch it again?
And that's why the small business transformation model matters here. Stabilize is where you answer the engineer question. What does the business actually do? Systematize is where you protect it. Scale is where it compounds. If you scale before systematizing, you scale chaos. If you systematize before stabilizing, you build systems for the wrong thing.
And what's different about this moment, what the agentic shift actually is that agents are no longer optional. They're part of the operating architecture now. The business is treating them like a nice to have. They're going to have a much harder rebuild later.
When I talk about the SBTM, I'm not talking about a theory. I'm talking about how work actually works inside a real business. SBTM stands for Small Business Transformation Model. 4 layers I see every operator move through, whether they realize it or not. First, structure, then behavior, then tools, then management. Most people flip that. They start with tools, but real leverage shows up when you design the thinking stack first. How decisions get made, how workflows flow, and how systems actually operate together. Because AI doesn't remove complexity, it just changes where complexity lives. And SBTM is how you stay in control of that shift.
Now, I want to be concrete about what this tool looks like as I am planning my own business right now. So, as many of you know, I'm building the insurance agency in Lake Nona around what I call a pod structure. So, here's what I envision: one lead human, like me or a senior agent, who owns the judgment calls and the client relationships, and one operational human who handles execution coordination and team logistics, and AI agents running the workflows in between. Now, that's not a solopreneur model, but it's also not a 20-person department. What the AI agents allow is for that small team to operate at a scale that used to require a much larger headcount, which means the business can be lean and still be robust. So the question I keep asking for every process is: a human here because this requires human judgment? Or is a human here because that's just how it's always been done? And every time the answer is the second one, well, that's a candidate for an agent workflow.
And that's disciplined system design. Most businesses add headcount before they ask that question. And then the headcount becomes the process. And then you're locked in.
So build the system first, then hire into it. That's the principle I'm building this agency on. So here's your one action for this week. I want you to pick one role in your business or one major category of work that you do yourself. Now, write down every task that role involves, everything. Then sort them into two columns. So, column A: tasks that require judgment, relationships, complex decisions, creative problem solving, things where the wrong call has real consequences. Then, I want you to write down column B: tasks that follow a pattern, like intake, routing, drafting, scheduling, data entry, follow-up documentation. So column B is your agent opportunity.
And here's the accounting most people aren't prepared for. Column A is almost always shorter than you assume. And generally, irreplaceable human work is a smaller fraction of the day than the pattern work surrounding it.
And that's not a threat. That's a design opportunity. The engineer who sees that clearly can build a system that protects what actually matters and automates the rest. Small steps, big changes. Now that's it for today's episode of Small Business Big AI. Thanks so much for tuning in.
If you're ready to stop being the engine, start with the exercise Kim just walked through. 1 row, 2 columns, 20 minutes. You know exactly where to start.
And then join us in the AI Insiders community for the full conversation. The link is in the show notes. And until next time, keep embracing change, keep innovating.
Keep building your technology-enabled superpower.
And this has been Small Business Big AI. We'll catch you in the next episode.